Hey, this is John Cena. Smash the like button if you remember when me and Shawn Michaels were tag team champions.
So here's my list of all the tag team champions in the World Wrestling Federation for the past 30-some years that people have forgotten even existed. Now, my first pick is The Miz and Shane. Man, that tag team still gives me PTSD in terms of, I think The Miz is an awful face. That was my biggest fear. Don't turn this guy face. He's an awful face. Just go back to his feud with Shane McMahon. That was awful. And the fact that they won a tag team titles, man, awful memories. The Miz is an awful face. So, my next choice is Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. People forgot about that tag team. People forgot that they were tag team champions. Now, that was a great gimmick. The evil vegan Daniel Bryan. He has not been good since that gimmick. And that is facts on facts. Daniel Bryan, he was at his peak with that gimmick. But yes, that was a tag team that people forgot existed when it came to the tag team titles. So my next choice is Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. People forgot that was a tag team. People forgot they were tag team champions with Sami Zayn as their manager. They were called the Artist Collective. That was a good team. I don't know why Vince McMahon broke them up. That was a great trio. But yes, most fans forgotten they were tag team champions. So my next choice is the 1-2-3 Kid and Marty Jannetty. That was a wild tag team. I can't believe Vince McMahon gave those two men. I can't believe Vince McMahon gave those two men the tag team titles. Are you crazy? Man, what a wild choice. But yes, most fans have forgotten they were tag team champions. So my next choice is Al Snow and Mankind. Man, I was a huge fan of the prime Al Snow in the late 90s. Him and Mankind, man, very underrated team. And I liked how Mankind was trying to elevate Al Snow. I don't know why Al Snow was a job guy, because him and Mankind were very similar. Both had goofy gimmicks at that point in time. But yes, most fans have forgotten they were tag team champions. And Mankind, Mick Foley was trying to elevate Al Snow. That was a decent team, a very good tag team. Now, my next choice is The Good Father and Bull Buchanan. Man, I forgot they were tag team champions. Right to Censor. When I was a kid, I hated that gimmick. I hated Right to Censor with a passion, because they took away all the great gimmicks. The Godfather, Val Venus. I'm like, bro, why would you take away Val Venus and Godfather? Man, but they had major heat because fans loved the Godfather and Val Venus. So that's why the fans did not like Right to Censor, because they missed those gimmicks. But yes, most fans forgotten that the Good Father and Bull Buchanan were tag team champions. Now, my next choice is Diamond Dallas Page and Canyon. Man, I can't believe Canyon was a tag team champion with Diamond Dallas Page. That was random. So there was a point in time where Canyon was being pushed by Vince McMahon. They were a very good tag team. But yes, most fans have forgotten they were tag team champions. So my next choice is Chris Jericho and Rocky Maivia. Now, I do remember that, yes, they were tag team champions. Man, that was a random ass group. I can't believe they were tag team champions. Rocky Maivia and Chris Jericho, man, such an odd choice. Those two men had a great rivalry. They had a great feud. I remember like it was yesterday, man. That was great times, man. Great era. Chris Jericho versus Rocky Maivia. And the fact that they had a can they coexist like tag team, that was great shit. But yes, most fans have forgotten that they were tag team champions. My next choice is Test and Booker T. A lot of people forgotten that they were tag team champions. I think that was in the Alliance era. That was such a random ass tag team because Test and Booker had nothing in common. What did Test and Booker T have in common besides being jacked up? Nothing. I'm like, wow, such an odd, random ass tag team. And the fact that they were tag team champions, man, that shocked me. But yes, most fans have forgotten they were tag team champions. My next choice is Taz and Spike Dudley. Wow, I can't believe Vince made those two men tag team champions. That was a very small, short tag team, but I think they were over though. They were very over with the fans at that point in time. And Spike Dudley, man, the fans loved Spike Dudley. And actually, that got Taz over. Taz got over by being with Spike Dudley. Spike was a fan favorite. In fact, man, I say why not put Spike Dudley in the Hall of Fame someday? Why not? I think Spike was a huge trailblazer. He was a small ass dude, but he was being pushed. He had a very good career in the World Wrestling Federation. He was a fan favorite. He was the first Darby Allin. Spike Dudley was the first Darby Allin. He was a huge trailblazer. I think that was the best version of Taz, was with Spike Dudley, because Spike was so over, that made Taz over. So yes, most fans have forgotten those two men were tag team champions. Now, my next choice is Rico and Rikishi. My God, a lot of fans forgotten they were tag team champions. That was crazy. I can't believe Vince made those two men tag team champions. Now, I think Rico was over though. Rico was over, even though he had a gay gimmick. The fans loved Rico. He was very entertaining. Now, him being paired up with Rikishi, that did make sense for his gimmick and for Rico's gimmick. That did make sense. So my next choice is Kane and Hurricane Helms. Yes, people have forgotten they were tag team champions. I'm telling you, Hurricane Helms was very over. I love the Hurricane. And him and Kane, that did make sense. Because Kane was like, he was a monster sidekick, right? Hurricane was the superhero, and Kane was his muscle, right? Kane was like the big brute. They were a great tag team that made sense for Hurricane's gimmick, which was a comic book gimmick. So it made sense for him to have a big muscle as his sidekick. That did make sense. But yes, they were very over. They were a beloved tag team by the fans. But in 2024, most fans have forgotten they were tag team champions. Now, my next choice is Lance Storm and William Regal. Man, I forgot those two men were tag team champions. That did make sense because Lance had a very boring, bland gimmick. So it did make sense for him to be paired up with Regal because both guys had very stiff kind of personalities. So they did mix well. But man, I forgot they were tag team champions. So my next choice is, man, Ric Flair and Roddy Piper. Wow, that is a blast from the past. I can't believe they were tag team champions. Man, that's called nostalgia. But obviously, that was for the fans that were huge fans of those two men going back to the 1980s. So that was more so a nostalgia-like push. So my next choice is Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. Yes, everybody has forgotten that they were tag team champions. Yes, that's facts. I think back in 2018, I believe, yes. They were tag team champions, Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. Back then, man, Braun was being pushed down our motherfucking throats. I was tired of it. I did not like Braun at that time. And the fact that those two men were tag team champions just to push a damn storyline, that did not make sense. But yes, they were tag team champions. I believe Braun was trying to challenge Seth for the world title, and I guess Vince had them in a can they coexist like tag team. So he made them tag team champions. But yes, most fans have forgotten they were tag team champions at a point in time. So my next choice is CM Punk and Kofi Kingston. Yes, they were tag team champions down at ECW. And that was a very random ass tag team, man. That was random. But that tag team made Kofi and CM Punk lifelong friends. So a lot of positives came out of that pairing. But I did like that tag team. They were young, they were up and coming, they had a bright future. Now I'm shocked that CM Punk went on to become a bigger star than Kofi. Man, that shocked me because I still think that Kofi is better than CM Punk. That's what I think. But yes, most fans have forgotten they were tag team champions in ECW. So my next choice is RVD and Kane. Now, a lot of people have forgotten they were tag team champions. Man, it's crazy, right? How come Kane is always tag team champions with a random ass dude? First it was fucking X-Pac, then Taker, then the Big Show, and then RVD, and then fucking Shane Helms. Why is Kane always paired up with somebody so random? Who else? Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan. It's like, that's a weird pattern that Kane is always tag team champions with somebody that he has nothing in common with. It's so weird. But they were a great tag team, though. RVD and Kane, they were over because they were so mismatched. You know, RVD was a fucking weed head. Then you had Kane, who was fucking Michael Myers. So it's like Michael Myers being paired up with, I don't know, Bob Marley, right? That's an odd-ass pairing. But yes, they were a great team, but most fans forgot that they were tag team champions. So my next choice is Dude Love and Stone Cold Steve motherfucking Austin. My God, I remember that tag team, man. I did not like that tag team because I felt like Dude Love was dragging down Stone Cold Steve Austin. I did not like it because it made Austin like a joke. I'm like, nah, man, take him away from Austin. This is not going to bode well. So I'm glad they broke up very, very quickly. But I did not get it. Why would you pair up Dude Love and Austin as tag team champions? And that was a prime, hot Stone Cold at that time period. I did not like it as a hardcore fan of Stone Cold Steve motherfucking Austin. I did not like it. But my next choice is RVD and Booker T. People forgot they were tag team champions. And they actually fit well. Now, they have a lot in common. So, I loved that tag team. RVD and fucking Booker T, man, great team. They had great matches. They had great chemistry. That made sense. But most fans forgot they were tag team champions. So, the last pick on my list is Stone Cold Steve Austin and Taker. A lot of people forgot they were tag team champions. That was a big deal because both guys were hot and in their prime. That was what, I think 1998? Yeah, great time to be a fan of fake pro wrestling. Those two giants, those two titans being tag team champions, that was great shit. That was great TV. See, that was at its peak. That was peak writing. That was peak storytelling. Man, I want to say that Taker was the one who turned on Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that's why they lost the tag team titles. Now, I can't be wrong. I'm saying I could be wrong, but I think that was the birth of the Ministry of Darkness Taker. I think so. Because Taker and Stone Cold, they had a fucking great feud. Beautiful, heated feud that I loved still to this day. But I think, yeah, that tag team led Taker to becoming the Ministry of Darkness Taker. I think so. But overall, a lot of fans forgotten that they were tag team motherfucking champions. You see, these are the videos that I love doing. Talking about old school fake pro wrestling. This is where my passion comes from. Talking about old school fake pro wrestling from my era that I grew up on. And I'm done.